Hey y'all, happy Tuesday. Um, it's Tuesday. My cat is meowing. So, full disclosure, today I have had one 22-ounce Sapporo, which is my favorite Japanese beer, and I'm partway through a second one. So, I decided that it would be kind of weird if I was just like tipsy but didn't mean to, but if I was purposefully getting drunk during this, then it's okay. So, let's all enjoy whatever happens here. Um, The other cat is sneezing. Why do you only sneeze or do this weird cough thing when I'm here, Echo? Is this like. Are you trying to get my attention by acting like a sick Victorian orphan? Anyway, so Britt and I this morning made the images for this little fic graphic in Animal Crossing. That's our avatars visiting my museum. I did make what was supposed to be a lobster hat and doesn't necessarily look like a lobster hat for Bellamy. I did have to draw that myself and I was not good at it. But I put in the effort. I did what I could. So yeah, that's us at the aquarium. It's very cute. I did have like a different one with like actual sea creatures on it, but why would I do that when I could have Bellark at an actual aquarium in Animal Crossing? I really do love the Animal Crossing aquarium too, so I'm happy to get to share more of it. It's so pretty. I love all the fish. Um, yeah, so I'm gonna drink some more of this beer. Part of me was like, maybe I shouldn't drink today because I'm gonna drink a lot tomorrow because we're gonna watch the premiere of the show and we will be drunk for that. Um, but also maybe I should drink a lot now so I'm prepared. Like pre-gaming, building up my tolerance. I don't know. The important thing is that our favorite Thai restaurant is delivering again, as is our favorite Japanese restaurant. We're very excited about both of these. And the Thai place is also selling 6 packs of 22-ounce cans of Sapporo. So I did get that, and I am excited because I have not found an actual liquor store that carries Sapporo around here, and I do like Sapporo. So yes, we're drinking. And after I'm done with this, we're watching Legends of Tomorrow, and it's also good to be drunk for Legends of Tomorrow. It was not particularly good to be drunk for playing Persona 5, but it wasn't like bad. I did not fuck up exactly, but I lost a bunch of my progress, but that was through no fault of my own. I like went in, I'd saved the last night before I stopped playing. I saved right before I started like a boss battle. And today I went in and finished the boss battle after dying once due to my own stupidity. So I did get through that, but then I like got through another cutscene and the game was like, you have to update to use network features. And I just said yes because I was like, well, why would it be asking me if I didn't need to do this? And apparently that reset the game and brought me back to my last save point, so I had to fight the boss again, which was annoying. I should drink more during these because I'm finding it much easier to ramble when I'm semi intoxicated. This is great. I should do this all the time. Don't drink, kids. Unless you're legal and like into it. But other than that, don't drink. Um, yeah. I'm excited for this fic. It's one of my favorites. I like it. Not I wouldn't say I'm necessarily excited for the premiere of the show tomorrow. I think it's going to be bad, but I'm also pretty emotionally uninvested at this point. So like I'm like, well, let's just find out what the train wreck is, and once the last season is over, I can write like a bunch of meta about how the show failed to deliver on whatever it was trying to deliver on, which is not clear because that show does not have a any kind of coherent narrative arc at this point. Or even non-narrative arc. Like, I don't think any characters have a good character arc, if they have arcs at all. It's real grim, y'all. Like, just bad writing, from what I can tell, motivated by a combination of hubris and spite. Like, it can honestly be hard, like, as a person who is writing, if you're like, even I, a lowly fanfic writer, occasionally am like, oh, people are telling me to do this. I must not do it because I'm a rebel. But, like, I've never actually gone against what I want to write in a fic because someone tells me I have to write it, even though I do bristle at that a little for incoherent psychological reasons. But I feel like with The 100, they were just like, how dare people like what we're doing wrong? We have to make sure they stop liking it because they're liking it wrong, which is, if they like what you're doing for the wrong reasons, you shouldn't stop doing it just because they like it. It's a good thing I'm going to be reading from here on out because I'm not sure how much of this is coherent. But again, this is so much easier than usual, and I should do this more often. I'm invincible. Um, Although, yeah, it's not quite time and I am lagging. Anyway, I do love the museum in Animal Crossing. I haven't been playing as much Animal Crossing generally, but it's still fun. I still need to catch a few more fish. Again, I love my museum, so I need to get the maximum number of fish in there, and I'm missing a couple. I have a bunch of garbage out on my island that's supposed to be attracting flies, but I have not found any flies yet. Also, my flowers are a disaster, and I need to clean them up. But today I did get a recipe for a tiny, like one of those little library things, and I'm really excited for that. I need to order some books so that I can make it, but it's so cute. I love it. I'm very excited to make this. Um, the cat has stopped coughing, so that's good too. And yeah, I'm definitely enjoying Persona 5. Oh good, it's 8:02. Yeah, why don't we just dive in here? We're gonna see how it goes. I'm gonna try to read coherently and not slur my words, but I'm not good at that at the best of times, so this is gonna be kind of an experiment in how much I can do this while drunk. This one's about 6,000 words, so, 35, 40 minutes probably. We'll see. Maybe I'll just be super fast, because, again, alcohol. For Clark, the third Saturday of the month is sacred. It started about 6 months into her and Lincoln's launching their gallery when she was at the end of her rope pretty much constantly and snapping at everyone, even Lincoln, who is really hard to get mad at because he is always calm and reasonable and helpful, which, at that point in Clark's life, just made it worse. Finally, he asks, have you considered taking a break? Have you considered that I don't have time? Make time, he said. I'm worried about you. I know this is important to you. It's important to me too. But you're gonna burn yourself out, and I need you. The next day had been a Saturday, so Clark took the day and did absolutely nothing work-related. In the morning, she got some of her own painting done. When she got hungry, she took herself out to lunch, and since it was a nice day, she went to the park and sat on a bench in the sun for a while. She got takeout and watched Netflix, and the next day she told Lincoln she would never fight with him again. That is a complete and total lie, he said. It is, but I'll remember to take days off. That's much more realistic. Now the gallery's been open for a year and it's doing pretty well, so she's in an overall better headspace, but she's still busy and she still doesn't take enough time for herself, so she's maintained the tradition. She doesn't so much as think about work on the third Saturday of the month, and she takes the time to do things for herself. Today she woke up late, took a long shower, caught up with Supergirl, and now she's going to go to the aquarium. She's an adult. If she wants to go look at fish by herself, she can. That's what being an adult means. It all falls apart before she even makes it into the building. She's texting Raven about Wells' birthday next week when she bumps into someone else getting in line, and she flashes them a smile and a sorry without even really thinking about it. And then she looks back up, and Bellamy Blake cocks his head at her. Clark sees Bellamy a couple times a month because Lincoln is engaged to Bellamy's sister, and Bellamy's sister is very close to her brother. So he'll come out with them for drinks sometimes and spend the whole time winding Clark up about anything and everything. He makes getting on her nerves into some kind of sport, and he is the world champion of it. Afternoon, he says, mild. Afternoon. The line moves forward, and they both follow it in step. I was in front of you, he says. Bellamy is 5 years older than she is, which, okay, he's 31 and she's 26. They're both adults, but he's more of an adult. Or he's supposed to be. Seriously? Seriously. I got here first. It does not matter. At all. Isn't even top 10 on a list of things she should care about. She's not even sure he's wrong. She was looking at her phone. But if he's going to care about it, she's going to care about it too. And more. No, you didn't. You weren't even paying attention. So? I still know. Uh-huh. The line moves forward again, and she and Bellamy go together, shoulder to shoulder. She jostles him a little because, yeah, they're both adults, but they always bring out each other's inner 5-year-old. What are you even doing here? She grumbles. What do you mean? Why are you at the aquarium? He's giving her a weird look, half skeptical and half amused. What's wrong with being at the aquarium? It's weird, right? Adults going to the aquarium alone? Unlike you, an adult at the aquarium alone. Why am I suspicious and you're not? She flashes him a grin. Who said I wasn't suspicious? Yeah, okay, he says with a soft snort of laughter. So why are you here? I asked first. Jesus, it's like you're 12. He huffs. They have a new octopus exhibit. And? And I like octopodes. Octopodes? They're really cool. Octopi, she says, and immediately regrets it when he smirks. Nope. Octopus is Greek, not Latin. So if you want to do the correct plural, it's octopodes, not octopi. He fans his hands in this dorky little ta-da gesture. The more you know. She can't help a little snort of laughter, and he looks so smug. It's the worst. So, are you embarrassed about being a nerd, so you decided you might as well be the alpha nerd? Is that what's happening here? It's the incorrect plural, Clark. Why would I be a pedantic asshole if I wasn't going to be right about it? Alpha nerd. Alpha and omega of nerds. He elbows her as they move forward again. It's either a friendly teasing gesture or an attempt to get ahead of her in line, and she honestly cannot tell which. So what are you doing at the aquarium? I like the aquarium. That's it? What? I don't know, you made me justify being here, and you just like the aquarium. Are you meeting someone here? Blind date? Drug deal? What are we looking at? I'm with the CIA, and this is where I meet my handler. That was my third guess. Lincoln thinks I work too hard, so every third Saturday I take a day to relax, she admits. It feels like giving something up to tell Bellamy this, given how many arguments they've had about how if her business fails it won't matter because her mother is still rich and would never let her daughter starve, even if they disagree about Clark's life choices. But he just nods. So once a month you come to the aquarium? Not always the aquarium, just somewhere fun. Sometimes I go to the park or another museum, or I just stay at home and do nothing. I just don't look at my work email, and Lincoln only texts me for friend reasons. So what I'm getting here is that you're actually so bad at relaxing you have to schedule it in. And you only schedule it once a month. That's the amount of relaxation you think is necessary. It's not the only time I relax, she protests. I have fun. I go out. Yeah, I've seen you at bars. Fun is not the first words that comes to mind. Terrifying, maybe. Overly invested in trivia game on the TV. He pauses. Champion alcoholic also works. Thanks. I'm just saying I'm not surprised you're scheduling your fun. And that what you do is come to the aquarium. You're also at the aquarium, so... For the octopodes, he says, very serious, and she has to laugh. The cashier calls, next, and they go up together before Clark has quite realized it. The girl behind the counter is maybe 17, and she gives them a quick once-over and asks, 2 adults? He rarely uses it, but Bellamy has probably the single most dazzling smile in the entire world, all perfect teeth and bright eyes, and he turns its full force on the girl. She actually looks a little dazed. Clark might be a little dazed, and she's not even seeing it head on. Yeah, thanks. Bellamy, did you want to do the IMAX or anything? He asks. No, what are you... Yeah, just 2 adults, thanks. The cashier gives him the total, which is way too expensive, and Bellamy hands over his card without comment. I'm going to murder you. You have very weird ways of showing gratitude. Thank you, he adds, giving the girl another smile as he accepts the tickets. Thank you, Clark echoes to her. Bellamy hands her one of the tickets. No thanks for me? You didn't have to do that. I'll pay you back. I was first in line, he says. I wasn't letting you take my spot. And since you wouldn't stop following me, I wasn't following you, I was in front of you. But I was the one who got to the counter first, so... He grins. Thank you, Bellamy. Thank you, Bellamy, she says. I'll cover your drinks next time we're out. Sure. He holds the aquarium door open and she keeps sort of planning to leave him, but they keep going the same way. The octopus exhibit is off to the left in one of the new buildings, so Clark is expecting him to veer off, but he's still walking in step with her. What are you doing? She asks. Going to the aquarium. Didn't we have this conversation already? Am I having a stroke? Are you? I thought you were going to see the octopodes. I am, but I always do the main building first. He pauses, then says, Octavia and I used to come here a lot after school. My friend Miller worked here, he got us in free. And it beat being home alone. So I've got a system, okay? Is that a problem for you? I used to come here with my dad, she admits. We always went to the turtles first. They were his favorite. He rubs his face. Jesus, really? Don't tell me O was really into the turtles in Finding Nemo. Great, says Clark. Now would be the time to go somewhere else. She could go to the octopodes, first, or go up to the third floor and work her way down. There are 1,000 routes through this aquarium, and she could take any of them. But she has her route, and she shouldn't have to give up on it just because it starts the same way as Bellamy's does. This is her day, and she has a plan. So, of course, it's not just the turtles. It starts with the turtles, and honestly, that's kind of fun. Bellamy tends to be one of those superior, above-it-all guys who likes to pretend he is too cool to care about things, but apparently he likes the aquarium. Like, he is genuinely into it. He spent a lot of time here and, apparently, got some insider intel from his friend Miller, and he can't help being enthusiastic and educational in her general direction, which is new. And Clark finds it's the same for her. They're walking around together, she can't just not talk to him. He's right here, and she has opinions about penguins. You don't like penguins, he asks, sounding more amused than anything. I didn't say that. She leans on the railing, watching them. They're cute, I get it, but I feel like they're kind of overrated. Like, oh, you love penguins, great. Everyone loves penguins. He actually laughs. No trace of an edge, no sarcasm. A bright, genuine laugh. Oh my god, you're an aquarium hipster. You think penguins are too mainstream. I should have known. That is not what I said, she lies. Sure it's not. So, what's your favorite? Is it really obscure or really normal? You really like the rainbow trout, but ironically. Shut up. I'm going to the first floor, he says. Do you start at the top and go down? Nope. First floor, clockwise. Great. And you couldn't rethink this. That's how I always go. I'm not changing just because... You better tell me which is your favorite when we get to it, Bellamy huffs. Done with the penguins? Too popular, she says, and he laughs again. Yeah, fuck those guys. Clark's favorite animal in the aquarium is the sea dragons, which are on the second floor. They have a big cylindrical tank that you can walk all the way around, and she can just watch them for hours, just drifting through the seaweed. I know everyone likes the leafy ones, and I do too, but I think the weedy sea dragons don't get enough credit, she says, face practically pressed against the glass. This isn't convincing me you're not an aquarium hipster, Bellamy remarks. Not like that. Sure. She looks back at him, catches an unfamiliar smile on his face. He's looking at her, not the sea dragons. Really, she says. They're all cool. But I feel like the leafy sea dragons are fantasy and the weedy sea dragons are sci-fi. He laughs. That's a new one. I have to say I've never really thought about it. Well, come look. He comes over without any of the expected grumbling or teasing, leans in close, his shoulder brushing against hers. Okay, you know the difference? Honestly, not really. O was always in a hurry to get to that giant catfish, so we kind of skipped these. Can't believe Lincoln is marrying someone who doesn't like sea dragons. Yeah, that's one of those major red flags in a relationship. Holy shit, that's one of them. he says, with genuine surprise, when a leafy sea dragon starts to move. I thought it was seaweed. He leans closer. Okay, that's really cool. That's the leafy, the fantasy one? Yeah, she says, oddly pleased he could tell. See the one in the back? The kind of black and gold one with the stripes? Oh, wow. With the little petals? Yeah, that's a weedy. It's not like. I like them all, they're really cool, but the leafy ones are a little more ornate. I like the sleek, simple look. No, I get it, he says. Fantasy and sci fi, like you said. He grins at her, and he's closer than she really realized. I don't think you're just an aquarium hipster. Thanks, I was really worried. She looks back at the tank, deliberate. You can go to the catfish. I know this isn't one of your usual stops. No, it's fine. These are really cool. I'm definitely adding them to my rotation. I'm not actually much of a giant catfish person. They do periodically get out of pace with each other. Clark actually does kind of like the trout, just because she likes the tanks that look like something she might actually see, and Bellamy rolls his eyes. He wants to look at the piranhas, and Clark used to have nightmares about those. She gets held up at the poison dart frogs, and he meets her there because of course he likes poison dart frogs. How are these less scary than piranhas? Are there horror movies about poison dart frogs, Bellamy? No. If I were in Hollywood, I would make horror movies about poison dart frogs. That would be awesome. And when you do, I'll be scared of them too. Thanks, he says. I'm glad you believe in my ability to make a scary frog movie. He bounces a little. Last room. Something you like in here? She asks. It's just jellyfish and lobsters, as she recalls. Not that there's anything wrong with jellyfish and lobsters, but they don't seem like a Bellamy's thing. Not particularly. But after that, octopodes. He pauses. Are you going to check them out, or are you done? I'm not missing out on octopodes. I like octopodes. He looks away. Clark's pretty sure to hide his smile. They are pretty awesome. The truth is, Clark had not been particularly enthusiastic about the octopodes. Not that she has anything against them, she just finds tentacles a little creepy. Wells went through an anime phase in high school and told her horror stories about some weird porn that she can't forget about. But Bellamy's really enthusiastic about it. And he's not so bad, honestly. He's still Bellamy, but at a base level, she kind of likes Bellamy. He's a dick, and he loves picking fights, but he's not actually malevolent. He's stubborn and kind of an asshole, but he'd never actually. If she called him in the middle of the night, he'd pick up the phone and he'd come get her. Which is a weird standard to have for people, but that's all she can think as she walks with him to the octopodes. Before today, if she'd really dug into it, she would have said she didn't like him, but she trusted him. And the version of him she's been hanging out with today is, well, she does like this Bellamy, who still feels like the same Bellamy, which is somehow even better. They could bicker and be friends, too, and apparently she wants that. Besides, she's kinda curious to find out why he likes octopodes so much. And he does not disappoint. Oh, awesome, I think that one's eating, he says, grabbing her arm absently and pulling her over to one of the tanks. I honestly have no idea where its mouth is, she says. At the center of the tentacles, basically. The actual eating part isn't that exciting. Octopodes are really smart, though, so they get bored. It's a challenge when you're keeping them in captivity. Like, they'll escape because the tanks don't have enough going on and want to do more. Really? Yeah, it's awesome. See that box? There's food in there. It's got to solve the puzzle before it gets the food, so that keeps it busy. That seems kind of mean, Clark admits. If they're too smart to stay in the cages, it sucks to keep them there. Yeah, that's the dilemma, he agrees. But still, it's really cool. And it's all like that. Bellamy really knows a lot about octopodes, and he's happy to tell Clark everything. They're all actually moving around, which is exciting. And they're pretty cool in motion, the rippling of the membranes between the tentacles, the way they pull themselves along across the sand. And Bellamy keeps tugging her after him, which is also, yeah. It's really fun how excited he is. She's never seen him like this before, and she wants to see it a lot more. By the time she thinks to look, it's way later than she planned to be out, but Honestly, she feels less stressed than she has in months. Shit, I didn't know it's this late, he says. His phone buzzed with a text while he was in the middle of an animated story about some octopus that used to eat other aquarium animals in the night, and apparently it's the first time he's checked since they got here, too. Sorry. Sorry? Just, we've been here a while. I would have left if I wanted to, she says, and he grins. But yeah, I'm probably done. Me too. I was gonna hit the gift shop. Really? You continue to be weirdly judgy about how I experience the aquarium. I just can't actually imagine you buying aquarium souvenirs. Are you gonna get a lobster hat? Do you like lobster hats? Only one way to find out, he says, with a smile she can't read. So, of course, she follows him to the gift shop, and he finds a lobster hat right away, puts it on her head, and when she pulls it on when she just pulls it on more firmly, he takes a picture. And then he puts one on himself, and it's actually cute. She gets like 4 pictures, and then one of both of them, and she's about to post it to Instagram when she realizes that it's a picture of her and Bellamy Blake in lobster hats at the aquarium, faces close together, looking like not even like friends, honestly. It's a date picture, and she doesn't know how to process that. She posts the picture anyway while he's poking through a pile of terrifying pink stuffed animals with huge eyes. If any real animal looked like that, evolution would make sure it died before reaching maturity, for the good of the entire species. They're not even cute, they're monstrosities. I want to get O something, he says. You still buy souvenirs for your 25-year-old sister when you go to the aquarium? She asks, charmed in spite of herself. Creepy souvenirs? The first time I came here, I was on a field trip, he says. I was in 6th grade, she was in kindergarten. She was so jealous I got to come and she didn't, so I figured I'd get her something. But I was 11, so I didn't have any money. I bought her this fucking shitty, ugly dolphin keychain, and she actually cried. It was so scary. So now whenever I come here, I'll buy her some weird shit to make up for it. He tells it like one of those heartwarming family stories, a classic, but all Clark can think is how much it feels like the moment you solve a magic eye puzzle, the way everything suddenly slots into place. Bellamy Blake, at 11 years old, spending all the money he had to buy his sister a present, something to make her happy because she didn't get to come to the aquarium with him, and instead he made her cry. And 20 years later, he's still buying her things she won't like because he doesn't know how to admit that it hurt that she didn't like the keychain in the first place. And you're not just going with the lobster hat? She asks, forcing her voice to be light. Are you kidding? That thing's way too nice. They end up getting a clownfish with giant blue eyes that take up about 75% of its body. And Clark gets him the lobster hat because the thinking about him at 11 is still making her ache. It looked so good on you, she says. I bet Instagram thinks so too. You posted a picture of me to Instagram? No, the one with both of us. Huh. He looks at the hat, fingers fluttering on one of the claws. Well, thanks. I'm definitely going to wear this all the time. I know. Appropriate for every occasion. Absolutely. It can be my thing. I'll be the lobster hat guy. And yet you're not wearing it. I have always wanted to be the guy on the train in the lobster hat. Clark doesn't know Bellamy's actual address, but she knows it's only a few blocks from her. When they take the train home from the bar, they get off at the same stop, even if they go different directions. So she says, I drove if you want to ride home. Yeah? You're not far from me, right? No, I'm not. Then yeah. Assuming you trust me with your address, I'll give you a ride. And then she grins. If you wear the hat. Deal, he says with no hesitation, and pulls it on immediately. Clark bats one of the claws, smiling. Perfect. Come on, I'm parked down the street. It's a little awkward at first because they're still mostly acquaintances who yell at each other over beers a few nights a month, and without a marine life, they don't have anything in particular to talk about. But Bellamy's a teacher, which means he always has weird stories about his students or some annoying thing the high school administration is doing. So when Clark asks how long it is until AP exams, That's all it takes, and they're talking all the way back to his place. "Thanks for the ride," he says. "And the lobster hat. And, I had fun." "Yeah," she agrees. "Me too." "If you're going to a museum or something for your next day off and want company, let me know," he says. He worries his lip like he might say something else, but finally just shakes his head. "Anyway, see you next week, probably. Good night." "Night, Bellamy." When she gets home, she checks Instagrams and finds the expected comments. A few "new boyfriend" from her college friends. "Wait, is that Bellamy?" from Raven. And "Clark, your mother said you were gay now, please call me" from her Aunt Linda. It's still a really cute picture, though. They look like they're having fun. She pokes half-heartedly through her fridge, but she's having trouble getting excited about food. Or about anything else. She had a really good time, and now the rest of her night feels like kind of a letdown. Which is the exact opposite of what she would have expected from running into Bellamy Blake at the aquarium on the day where she's supposed to not be dealing with anything stressful. And she didn't. She had a nice time with Bellamy. A really nice time. Finally, she grabs her bag and goes down the street to the pub on the grounds that it is her stress-free day and she doesn't want to cook. And she wants a drink. Sometimes eating alone depresses her, but she thinks it'll probably be fine tonight. Being around people sounds better than being alone on her couch, eating takeout and watching Netflix and wondering if it would be weird to text Bellamy. Which it would. Especially because all she can really think to say is that she thinks they should be friends, and she thinks it was sort of implied. It's prime time on Saturday, so there's a wait list for a table, and Clark puts herself on it and goes to wait outside on the steps, then sits warm out and crowded by the door. She's about to win her Hearthstone game when someone sits down next to her. "Fancy meeting you here," says Bellamy. Clark startles. "Hi?" "Hi. Are you stalking me?" "I got to the aquarium first, so—" She has to laugh. "Seriously, what are you doing here?" "Seriously? I'm out of food and don't want to go to the store." "What about you? Hot date?" "No, basically same. But there's a half-hour wait for tables. Or there was when I put my name in." "Shit, when was that?" "Like 15 minutes ago. And it's busier now." "So I'll just starve to death on the street. That's cool too." Clark has to smile. "As long as you've got a plan." And then, because, well, I don't think they have any one-person tables, so I bet I could just add you on mine. I'll just have an empty seat anyway." "Yeah?" "I do owe you for the aquarium ticket. I could buy you dinner." "You could?" he asks, grinning. "I figured that was what the lobster hat was for." "Nope, I'm just a giver." She stands and offers him her hand. "Come on, we can go ask the hostess." He takes her hand and lets her pull him up, and once he's on his feet, she's very aware of everything. He's not that tall, but he still has a good 4 inches on her at least, and he's very broad and very warm, and his hand is rough and huge. He's closer than she expected, and she realizes all at once that the fluttery feeling that started growing in her chest somewhere in the octopus exhibit is attraction, and the nervous, restless desire to talk to him more is a crush. "Hostess?" he prompts. "Yeah, let's see what we can do." The hostess agrees to add Bellamy to her table, and they go to the bar to wait instead. He gets a beer and she gets a cider, and the awkward silence returns for a minute. And then Bellamy says, "Octavia thinks we got married." Clark chokes on her cider. "When?" He grins. "Yeah, the timeline was what got me, too," he teases. "Lincoln showed her your Instagram post, I guess. I don't know what it says about me that my sister thinks the way I'd announce my elopement is with a picture of me and my new wife wearing ugly lobster hats." "You mean awesome lobster hats?" "Oh yeah, sorry, awesome lobster hats. When you put it that way, it's a great plan." "I thought so. What did you tell her?" "We're engaged, obviously." "Obviously." "I told her the truth," he says, taking a sip of his beer. "We ran into each other, kept trying to lose each other, but we were always going the same place, so we eventually gave it up and figured we should hang out." And she said, it's hard to really capture her tone, "What the fuck, Belle," but a lot more disappointed. "It's always hard to find out your brother didn't get shotgun married at the aquarium, I guess." She worries her lip, feels very obvious when she says, "You haven't dated anyone in a while, right?" Since you and Gina broke up? Yeah. She was probably just happy for you, getting back in the game. Yeah, she's been kind of worried about me since she got engaged. Clark cocks her head at him and he shrugs. I think she thinks, I'm 6 years older than her and single, so she thinks it's depressing for me. A sign I'm wasting my life or something. And is it? Not. I don't really want to be married right now. Honestly, it's terrifying that my sister feels like she's ready to settle down and spend the rest of her life with someone, but not in a depressing way. I just still think she's 12 and telling me about her first period half the time. Shark chokes again and he grins. Sorry, weird thing to say? Deeply. Assume I have a lot of memories like that. So, yeah, it's weird she's old enough she wants to get married, but it doesn't make me feel like I've wasted my life or anything. He pauses, doesn't look at her when he adds, I'm not doing that great with the dating thing right now, but again, separate issue. And I'm working on it. How? There's a pause. Trying to be less stupid. Wow. Dream big, Bellamy. He ducks his head on a laugh. Right? I should have set some more realistic goals. Their table opens up before she can ask anything else about Bellamy's current dating goals, which is probably just as well. She's not convinced she really wants to know. She hates crushes. What about you? Bellamy asks. Still single? Since, Nyla? Yeah. Cool. He makes a face. That was a placeholder word. I don't think it's great that you're single. Unless you do. In which case it's cool. Wow, I wasn't gonna overthink that, but you made it really hard not to. Yeah, that started badly for me and got worse. He gives her a rueful smile. I keep expecting this to turn into a fight, honestly. Yeah, I know what you mean. But be honest, you're trying to piss me off most of the time. You noticed, huh? It's fun, she admits. I like arguing with you. Yeah, me too. But honestly, this not arguing thing is working for me too. Yeah. She considers, but she's curious and they're being friendly, so she asks, How old were you when your mom died? Which is definitely one of those normal, friendly questions. 22. So you had just graduated from college and took Octavia for 2 years. Yeah, but I mean, she was 16. She was pretty self sufficient at that point. Still, I'd been her primary caretaker for a while. Yeah, I got that impression. Yeah. Why do you ask? Just wondering. Friend stuff. He snorts. Obviously. When did your dad die? When I was 17. When did your mom disown you? She never did. Not officially. She just said that she'd pay for me to finish college and med school, but if I didn't go to med school, I was on my own. I think it was supposed to be. She sighs. It's easier to be fair to her mother a few years out. They still talk, they're both just stubborn about things. I don't think she ever meant to cut me off. But when she gave me the ultimatum, that was it for me. I wasn't ever going to take a penny from her ever again. Which is stupid, you don't have to tell me. It's the good kind of stupid, he says, and she gives him a look. No, I know I gave you a hard time. Oh, is that what we're calling it? I think it's cool you didn't let her dictate your life just to get money. I probably would have been tempted. She knows it's because she's always had money and he never did, but it's getting a little heavy already, so she says, Really? Do you know how long med school is? He laughs. Okay, yeah, but other than that. The waiter comes by to take their orders, and once he's gone, Bellamy gives her a contemplative look. She doesn't blush. Probably. So, friend stuff. Favorite book? His Dark Materials. Obviously. Obviously? Angry blonde girl lies and bullshits her way across the multiverse, he says, and she laughs. Has a complicated relationship with her mother. That's one summary, yeah. You? The Iliad. In the original Greek, I assume. How many octopodes does it have? He kicks her lightly under the table. Favorite TV show? Pop culture gets them through dinner, and she's basically forgotten that she would have said she hated Bellamy if anyone asked her this time yesterday. Did you two want to see a dessert menu? The waiter asks, in a pointed kind of way, and Clark realizes it's kind of late and they've been so engrossed in their conversation, they probably missed him trying to make this offer a couple times. Bellamy cocks his head at her, and Clark shrugs one shoulder. I could look at a menu. Of course, he says, and hands her one and Bellamy another. The apple pie is our most popular to share, he adds, and she feels heat rush up her neck. Thanks, she says, and fails to really take in the menu for a couple seconds. The apple pie does look good, Bellamy says after a slight pause. A la mode? Of course. It is my day off. It's not a day off without dessert. Yeah, so I hear. He clears his throat. Split it? The nervousness in his tone makes her heart stutter. Yeah, okay. She picks up the bill even though the meal was more than the aquarium and tells him he can buy her beer the next time they're out. We're never going to be even, are we? He asks, amused. Nope. You started it. I got there first, he says, and she laughs. They're lingering outside the door, waiting to go their separate ways. It feels like the end of a very good first date, and if it was, she'd ask him to come home with her. But it would be weird as it is. So, I had a nice time, Bellamy says, awkward. Again. We should hang out more, since we're basically neighbors. We should. Impulsively, she leans up and pecks him on the cheek. Best day off I've had in a while. Thanks. She can see him swallow, but all he says is, no problem. See you next week. Yeah, see ya. She debates for about an hour the next morning, but finally just decides, well, fuck it. She texts Bellamy, I'm going to the art museum. Want to come? He replies, I thought yesterday was your day off. It was. This is a new thing I'm trying. Date day. You inspired me. There's a pause just long enough for her to worry he's trying to let her down easily. But then he says, what time? He kisses her as soon as he's in the car. Not long or deep, but very firm. Should have done that last night, he says. His grin is his blinding one, but it's happy, not charming. She's thinking he maybe didn't only just realize he was attracted to her yesterday, and it's doing a lot of things to her stomach. I was kicking myself all the way home. Honestly, I'm just sad you're not wearing your lobster hat, she teases. On a first date? Come on, I really like this girl. She kisses him too, in case he's nervous, and because the first time really was way too quick. She really likes lobster hats, she says, very serious against his mouth, and he laughs. Next time, he promises, and really does wear it for their second date. Like I said, I really like this girl. Clark slides her hand into his and squeezes. Yeah, she really likes you too. Okay, that is the end of that. I still have some beer left, so I didn't chug it at any point here, so that's good. I am pretty drunk, so I'm going to sign off and go have some water because hydrating is important. If you are drinking, please hydrate. I will see you on Thursday. If you're watching the show tomorrow, good luck and Godspeed. See you later, y'all.